Welcome to the Fight Game. He's Icewater Puma. The Fight Game is sponsored by Rayon Cognac. Join the movement. Contact us at www.rayoncognac.com for more information and go get you a bottle or two wherever you are. Either order it online or I'm pretty sure they have stores that can sell it to you. Before fought last night, he dominated his opponent, knocked him down in the first round. It seemed like his opponent was very young and, really inexperienced. I think he had maybe about 14 fights, but it was game to come out there. He was the mandatory fight for Bivol. And there was another fight last night with Foster and Ford. Foster retains his WBC 130 belt. And I thought that fight, Ice, was a draw. It didn't seem like Foster did a lot in that fight, but Ford didn't do enough to take the belt from Foster. So maybe they gave the champ the nod on that one. And then you saw where Shakur Stevenson was chirping back and forth with Foster. And you said it earlier, maybe Foster is not on the caliber of Shakur, and maybe this is for show. I don't know. But your thoughts?
Foster Ford, I think in the championship rounds, Foster was more busy, right? Seemed like he landed more quality punches. And because you look at the stats of the fight from the punches, they're very similar.
Mm-hmm.
But I think late 11 and 12, maybe a little bit even in 10, you saw where Foster was just more busy. And I think that's just where Ford is inexperienced. And I also think that Foster was able to use his size because he was bigger, right? Which is why he threw Ford out in the ring in the second round. But he was able to use his size to kind of frustrate Ford, and he became more physical, and that's why he was able to do what he did in the championship rounds, I think.
It looked like to me that I was watching the same round over and over again, except the first round when Foster threw Ford out the ring, which they could have took points or they could have disqualified him for that. That's really uncalled for. But it just seemed like it was the same round, you know, round after round after round. They looked like carbon copies of each other. So I'm not sure what Foster's future is going to be in boxing, who he's going to fight next. But yeah, he's the WBC champ at that weight. And so we'll see what happens. We have a lot of fights coming up this summer that folks need to pay attention to. I know we have the Rodriguez Vargas fight coming up on June 13th. We have the Zayas Enos fight coming up on June 27th. Tszyu and Spencer Jr. coming up on July 25th. We have a Canelo Alvarez fight coming up on September 12th. We have the Garcia Ben fight coming up on September 12th. And of course, we have the Mayweather Pacquiao fight coming up on September 19th. So, which fight are you going to be focused in and zeroed in on with all those fights coming up this summer?
Wow, Pacquiao, no, I'm just playing.
Which I said, I don't think that's going to happen, but
Man,
whatever.
yeah, I'm not. No, I would say maybe a couple of them. First of all, definitely Xander's Zayas, versus Jerome Boots Ennis. One, because Xander is the type of guy that a lot of people are saying they don't think he should take this fight. They think it's too early. He really does not have to fight Boots Ennis, right? He has two of the belts in that division, but he said he wants to prove himself. That's why he's taking on Boots Ennis. So I want to see that because this could be a real challenge. We've been waiting for a lot of fans have been waiting for Jerron Boots Ennis to be challenged by a quality fighter, and I think this is it. We've been hearing that Boots is really the truth and all that too, but Xander's like, why not take a shot? I'm ready. I think I'm just as good or not better. I'm on your level. So let's fight. So I definitely want to see that fight because you're talking about it, but maybe we finally get to see Boots challenged, right? It can't be really his fault, but I'm looking for that too. Another fight that I'm interested in would be you mentioned about the Ben Rodriguez versus Antonio Vargas.
Yeah.
And the reason why I'm interested in that because they have been portraying Ben Rodriguez as this pound for pound fighter, and maybe I don't see it just yet. He's been as high as number four, number three, or whatever. And now, in order to prove that he's that great, he's moving up to 118, and that's where he's going to fight Vargas. Does hold one of those belts, so he's moving that way. And then there's also, I guess, there's a tier of things they want Rodriguez to do in order to get to the ultimate goal, which is the monster. So now, if he wins this fight, supposedly he would then be in line to fight the monster's younger brother at 118, who is a champion as well. And then I guess the creme de la creme, or the his prize would be his get wrapped surprise would be the opportunity to face the monster down later down at 122. So it's the process, but I'm glad to see that at least Rodriguez is stepping up to get an opportunity to see if he is really as great as they've already deemed him to be.
Yeah, I want to see this fight, but I really don't want to see this fight. The Earl Spence Jr. fight against Tszyu, because I know that Roy Jones Jr. went to work out with or watch or observe Spence Jr. Fight and him trying to make a comeback. But some part of me don't want to see Earl Spence in the ring again, and it was because of what Terrence Crawford did to him when he was in that ring, and it just showed that that accident really took a toll. He just wasn't the same fighter, and so against Tszyu, I want to see whether or not he can do it or not, but I'm praying that he doesn't get hurt in that fight or some mishap or look lethargic or kind of lose his sense in that ring and really get hurt. I want to see Conor Benn. Conor Benn has been making a lot of noise, and he wants to smoke, and so I want to see if Ryan Garcia can handle Conor Benn. I really do want to see him in that particular fight. So those are along with the fights that you mentioned, those are the fights that I would really like to see. But excusing the Spencer, not Spencer, but the Spence fight, I don't know. I'm going to be kind of looking at it like this, man, because I don't want to see my boy get hurt, man. I really don't.
Yeah, no, I can understand that, but he has to find out one way or the other. And I think Tim Zoo's coming off one of those fights too, where they're both trying to find out whether or not they still have it. So instead of they're moving forward in a position against a higher talent or better talent,
Champion, yeah.
yeah, you want to see right now, maybe you can stop the bleeding, stop it, so they don't go in there and really get hurt. Because if they're not, either one of them is not able to do it, it could really make for a bad situation, a very hurt fighter in the ring.
Yeah, there's been some other news on Mayweather, but we're not going to talk about it in this particular episode until I get verification of those stories. Not really good news on Mayweather and his personal life, and so we've talked about some of the stuff that happened before, but it just seems like every week there's something new that's coming out on this guy, and it's got to be some kind of pressure on him with some of the stuff that's coming up. But any other news that you can think of, man, that we could do on the show?
Yeah, I was looking at one other thing. You mentioned about David Benavidez, right?
Mhm.
David Benavidez is going around. He's been showing really great potential, right? A lot of really great potential, and people are excited about it. They mentioned he might even want to move up to heavyweight to challenge your little man, but that's still up in the air. But now that he's like a two-time cruiserweight champion, the the talk was that he would step up and fight the number one contender. I think it's Jai Obatea, and he was supposed to fight him. But then he mentioned Benavidez, that is, talking about, well, maybe waiting on Canelo if he wins. I mean, what are you doing? And now, with that being said, that's what he was talking about. But from the standpoint now that they're saying that the fighter that holds the other belt is going to fight Obatea, which means it kind of might leave Benavidez out with no fight, out to dry, when he should be trying to match up with the gentleman with the other belt, right? To unify. But he's messing around and bouncing around and trying to chase Canelo still, and I thought he was over that, but I still don't think he'll ever get that fight. But he's also, at the same time, by you chasing Canelo, you are literally putting yourself in a position where you're missing quality money fights. You should be unifying, not chasing Canelo. And I don't, that's the part I don't understand in regards to his team. What are you guys doing? Unify, do what you can. I also mentioned that you want to fight Bivol. I'm not sure Bivol's interested in. I know Beterbiev was interested in possibly fighting you, but they're both getting older. So my question is, if you are a guy who has two belts now, and you're supposed to be working on your craft and become an up and coming guy, or a guy that you say, I'm one of those guys now, your people need to make better decisions so you can be set up to prove that you're as great as you claim to be.
We'll see, man. We'll see because the boxing game is taking a turn, and we talked about some other events that happen that are more entertainment than boxing. But we'll talk about that this summer as the summer goes on. It's getting real weird out there with the boxing game and the fight game in total, MMA included. But we will come back this summer and we will cover some of these fights. We will see you during the summer. So you take care.